You've been told that manifesting your dream life is hard. It takes complicated rituals, endless visualizations, perfectly worded affirmations, and a constant grind to raise your vibration. But what if I told you that quantum manifestation is stunningly simple? So simple that almost nobody does it correctly. Here's the truth. You are living inside a quantum field right now, a field infinite in possibility. A field that responds not to your effort, but to your alignment. And yet, most people approach manifestation like it's a fight. They try to overpower their current reality with willpower. They repeat affirmations they don't believe, visualize outcomes they secretly doubt, and force themselves to think positively while their body remains locked in fear, scarcity, and stress. This is where the whole system collapses. In the quantum world, forcing creates friction. Let me strip this down to something beautifully simple. Quantum manifestation isn't about getting what you want. It's about collapsing the version of reality where you already have it. It's not about changing the external world first. It's about embodying the internal signal that pulls that world toward you. The quantum field holds every possibility: success and failure, abundance and lack, love and loneliness, health and struggle. All of it exists as waves of probability. But here's the kicker. The wave doesn't collapse into your lived reality until it meets a coherent observer. That's you. Your focus, attention, and emotion are the sculptors of reality. But most people are caught in a loop. They observe from fear, focus on what's missing, and vibrate at the frequency of lack while trying to pull in abundance. In the language of quantum physics, this is noise, not signal. You've been taught to chase what you want, but the real art of manifestation is becoming the version of you that no longer needs to chase. It's the version of you that remembers, I am already entangled with the life I desire. The field is waiting for my signal. My job is not to push harder, it's to become clearer. So why don't people do this? Because simplicity feels disarming. Letting go feels unnatural. Surrendering the chase feels like giving up. But here's the paradox no one talks about. The moment you stop needing it so badly, the field can finally deliver it to you. Let me give you an example. Think about a time when something came to you effortlessly. Maybe you ran into the perfect person by accident, got an opportunity you weren't even seeking, or had a breakthrough idea when you weren't trying. What's the common thread? You weren't gripping. You weren't forcing. You were open, aligned, and available. That's quantum manifestation at work, whether you realized it or not. The quantum field doesn't care about your words. It reads your energy. You can say, I am wealthy, 1,000 times. But if your body is broadcasting fear, your heart is clenched in scarcity, and your nervous system is addicted to struggle, the field will mirror that chaos back to you. Not because it's cruel, but because it's precise. So, let's dive deeper into the mechanics of the quantum field. At its core, quantum manifestation is about coherence, not just in your thoughts, but across your entire system: thoughts, emotions, and actions. Think of the quantum field as a cosmic translator. When your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors align, the message you send is crystal clear. The field responds instantly because it reads your vibration, not your intentions. But here's where most people trip up. They focus on one piece, usually thoughts or affirmations, while ignoring the deeper layers. For example, you can repeat, I am wealthy, 1,000 times. But if your body is still vibrating with fear, your heart is clenched in scarcity, and your nervous system is wired for survival, the field will mirror that chaos back to you. It doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you are. This is where the observer effect comes into play, a cornerstone of quantum physics. At the quantum level, particles exist in a state of pure possibility, known as a wave function. But when an observer, you, focuses on a specific possibility, that wave collapses into a fixed event. Reality solidifies, choices crystallize, the unseen becomes seen. Here's the catch. The observer isn't just your conscious mind. Your subconscious plays an equally critical role. Even if you consciously desire abundance, if your subconscious is programmed for survival, scarcity, or fear, the field will collapse into a timeline aligned with those hidden broadcasts. This is why so many people feel stuck. They're aligning their surface-level thoughts but ignoring the deeper programs running beneath. And it gets even more fascinating. Scientists like Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton have shown that the heart has its own electromagnetic field, far stronger than the brain's. This heart field radiates outward, interacting with the larger quantum field around you. When your heart and brain are in coherence, you send out a powerful, unified signal. But when they're out of sync, the signal becomes weak and fragmented. This is why trying to manifest from your mind alone often fails. Without the emotional component, the felt sense of alignment, the quantum field has no clear signal to mirror back. Manifestation isn't a mental game. It's a full body, full system shift. You must tune your body, breath, nervous system, beliefs, and daily choices into harmony. It's not a one-time ritual. It's a living practice. Let's take a real-world example. Imagine you want to manifest love. You can write affirmations, create vision boards, and visualize your ideal partner. But if deep down you're carrying wounds of unworthiness, if your nervous system is braced for rejection, and if your heart is armored and afraid to open, the quantum field feels that tension. It picks up the contradiction and reflects it to you as longing, searching, and almost but not quite connections. The key is coherence, feeling whole now, practicing the emotions of what you desire before it shows up, and embodying the state of already having it. You become the frequency first, and the form follows. Are you ready to explore how to dissolve resistance and align your subconscious with your desires? So why does almost nobody do this? Why, with all the books, courses, and endless YouTube videos on manifestation, do so many people stay stuck, frustrated, and disappointed? The answer is both simple and uncomfortable. Letting go feels unnatural. The eyes saw human mind is addicted to control. We've been conditioned to believe that the more we effort, the more we deserve, that struggle equals worth, that the harder we work, the more likely we are to succeed. So when we encounter a system like quantum manifestation, where the central key is coherence, alignment, and surrender, it short-circuits our programming. We keep trying to force outcomes, even though forcing is the very frequency that tells the field, I don't trust this process. Let's break this down. Most people who fail at manifestation are caught in what I call the control trap. They're constantly monitoring their results. They visualize abundance, but check their bank account every hour with anxiety. They script about love, but obsess over text messages and dating apps. They declare health, but scan their body for symptoms every morning. In doing this, they send a signal of mistrust to the field. They affirm one thing consciously, but broadcast the opposite subconsciously. Why does this matter so much? Because the quantum field doesn't speak English or any human language. It speaks the language of energy, and energy never lies. You can say all the right words, but if your nervous system is bracing for loss, if your mind is locked in loops of doubt, if your body is flooded with cortisol, the field listens to that deeper frequency. This is why so many people are exhausted. They're doing all the things, but they're doing them from a place of hypervigilance, scarcity, and lack. And so they loop. They manifest more waiting, more lack, more efforting, more searching. Energetically, they are not in the timeline of already having. They are in the timeline of trying to get. Here's where it gets even subtler. The subconscious mind runs about 95% of your life. It's the autopilot that shapes your habits, beliefs, emotional reactions, and sense of identity. You may consciously want a breakthrough, but if your subconscious is anchored in old stories like, "I'm not enough," "nothing works for me," or "I have to fight for everything," those stories will collapse the wave into the same old outcomes. This is why affirmations without embodiment feel hollow. This is why visualizations without nervous system regulation collapse. This is why action without an aligned identity leads to burnout. So what can you do? First, you must understand that quantum manifestation isn't an add-on to your life. It's a recalibration of your whole system. It's a remembering, a returning. It's about becoming the version of you that lives inside the timeline you desire before you see evidence of that timeline in your external world. For example, if you want to manifest abundance, you practice feeling abundant now, not later, not when the money arrives, but now. You treat yourself with generosity, presence, and care. You let go of micromanaging the outcome and focus on embodying the signal of trust. If you want love, you practice loving yourself now. You open your heart, soften your edges, and become the kind of partner you wish to attract. You stop seeking validation and start living as though you are already enough, because you are. If you want health, you stop scanning your body for what's wrong and begin nurturing what's right. You shift from survival mode into resilience, practicing gratitude for the body you have while gently guiding it toward greater vitality. And here's the paradox. When you stop needing it so badly, it arrives faster. Not because the universe is testing you or playing games, but because you are no longer the resistance. So let me ask you this. Where in your life are you still holding the steering wheel with a white-knuckled grip? Where are you still measuring, tracking, forcing, and chasing? What would happen if you loosened your grip by just 10%? Pause with that for a moment. This isn't about passivity. It's about shifting from control to co-creation. And that shift, subtle, powerful, revolutionary, is where quantum manifestation begins to work. Are you ready to explore the simple but rarely practiced techniques that dissolve resistance, regulate your state, and help you become the clearest signal possible to the quantum field? Now that we've unpacked the mechanics of quantum manifestation, let's get practical. How do you dissolve resistance without bypassing your emotions? How do you regulate your state in real time and become the clearest signal possible to the quantum field? These are the questions that transform theory into action, and action into results. Let's start with the simplest tool you already have, your breath. Your breath is the bridge between your mind and body, the anchor that grounds you in the present moment. When you feel tension rising, whether it's anxiety about money, frustration in relationships, or fear of failure, pause. Take one deep, conscious breath, then another. Feel your body soften, even if just by 1%. This isn't about fixing anything. It's about interrupting the autopilot patterns that keep you stuck in old frequencies. But here's the deeper layer. As you breathe, ask yourself, what timeline am I tuned into right now? Are you vibrating in the frequency of lack, waiting, or control? Or are you aligned with trust, flow, and arrival? No judgment, just awareness. Awareness creates choice, and choice is the gateway to coherence. Next, let's talk about emotional regulation, a skill few people practice but everyone needs. Manifestation isn't about feeling good all the time. It's about feeling real all the time. It's about welcoming your emotions without letting them hijack your system. Fear doesn't disappear, it becomes a guest, not the landlord. Sadness doesn't vanish. It flows through you like a river, not a stagnant pool. The goal isn't to suppress or ignore your feelings. It's to process them consciously so they don't sabotage your signal. Here's a technique I call the pivot practice. When you notice yourself spiraling into doubt, scarcity, or frustration, pause. Place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. Breathe deeply and say to yourself, "This is how the old version of me feels. But who am I becoming?" Then, take one small action from the energy of the new you, the version of you who already has what you desire. It could be as simple as smiling at yourself in the mirror, journaling from a place of gratitude, or saying no to something that doesn't align with your highest path. Small actions build momentum. Another powerful practice is what I call feeling it forward. Instead of focusing on what you lack, immerse yourself in the sensations of already having it. If you want abundance, sit quietly and feel the weightlessness of financial freedom, the ease, the joy, the generosity. If you want love, imagine the warmth of being deeply seen and cherished. If you want health, tune into the vitality coursing through your body. This isn't visualization, it's embodiment. You're not imagining the outcome, you're practicing the feeling of it. And here's the truth, you will wobble. There will be days when fear creeps back in, when old patterns whisper louder than your dreams. That's okay. Mastery isn't about never falling, it's about how quickly you return to alignment. Every time you recalibrate, you strengthen your coherence. Every time you choose trust over control, you deepen your connection to the quantum field. Finally, remember this: community matters. We are social, energetic beings. The people around you influence your frequency. Surround yourself with voices, spaces, and communities that remind you of who you're becoming. Let your environment reflect the timeline you're stepping into. Curate your inputs, what you watch, read, listen to, and engage with. Fill your field with reminders of your chosen reality. Are you ready to hear the final piece of this puzzle? The one that ties everything together and shows you how to sustain this practice over the long term? Here's the truth about quantum manifestation. It's not a one-time event. It's not a sprint to the finish line, or a box you check off your spiritual to-do list. Manifestation is a practice. It's a way of being, moment by moment, choice by choice. And this is where most people fall short. Not because they lack potential, but because they stop practicing when the initial excitement fades. Think about it like learning an instrument. You don't pick up a guitar once, strum a few chords, and expect to play a symphony. Mastery comes from consistency, from showing up even on days when you don't feel inspired. The same is true for quantum manifestation. Your ability to sustain coherence, your alignment between thoughts, emotions, and actions, is what determines how quickly and consistently your desired reality collapses into form. So, how do you sustain this practice over time? Let me give you 3 simple yet transformative strategies. Morning anchoring. Start your day by tuning your frequency before you check your phone, scroll social media, or dive into emails. Take 3 deep breaths and ask yourself, what timeline am I stepping into today? Are you choosing abundance, trust, and flow, or are you defaulting to scarcity, fear, and control? Set the tone for your day by consciously deciding who you're becoming before the world tells you who you should be. Body as compass. Your body is the ultimate feedback system. When you slip out of alignment, it will let you know through tension, tightness, or fatigue. Instead of ignoring these signals, use them as opportunities to recalibrate. Place a hand on your heart, breathe deeply, and ask, what would the version of me living in my desired timeline choose right now? Then take one small action from that energy. Small shifts compose into big changes. Evening reflection. At the end of each day, pause and reflect, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Ask yourself, where did I wobble? Where did I align? Where did I glimpse my power? Celebrate even the smallest wins. Gratitude amplifies coherence. By acknowledging progress, no matter how subtle, you strengthen your connection to the quantum field. Now, here's something most people overlook. Community matters. We are energetic beings, constantly co-regulating with those around us. Surround yourself with voices, spaces, and communities that resonate with the frequency you're stepping into. Curate your environment. What you watch, read, listen to, and engage with. Let your external world become an ally to your internal practice. When you immerse yourself in a supportive field, your alignment deepens effortlessly. Finally, remember this: there is no finish line. The goal isn't to arrive and then stop. The goal is to live inside a continuous unfolding, to become the living edge of your evolution. You aren't just manifesting things. You're becoming someone who lives as a creator, a co-creator, a conscious participant in shaping reality. Because here's the most beautiful part. The quantum field isn't separate from you. It's not something you manipulate from a distance. You are the field. You are the wave. You are both the observer and the observed. When you tune your frequency, you're not just asking life to meet you. You're becoming the version of life you've been seeking all along. Before we close, I have one final invitation for you. In the comments below, leave one word that captures the energy you're choosing to carry forward after watching this video. Maybe it's alignment, maybe it's ease, maybe it's power. Whatever it is, let that word be a declaration, a quantum seed you plant, not just in this space, but within yourself. If this video stirred something inside you, if you felt a shift, a remembering, a spark, I warmly invite you to subscribe. This isn't just a channel, it's a living space, a gathering point for those ready to step into their creative power. When you hit subscribe, you're joining a movement of minds and hearts reshaping what's possible. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Thank you for your presence, your attention, and your energy. You are not just a viewer, you are a participant in this unfolding. Keep tuning, keep aligning, keep playing in the field. Because the life you desire isn't waiting for you, it's entangled. With you right here, right now, all you have to do is become the signal.